In sports, the scoreboard doesn't tell the full story, but Netflix does. Stories about dads who happen to be world-class quarterbacks and a battle for the heart, soul, and direction of the multi-billion-dollar business of F1. Whether you're a diehard fan or you're brand new, Netflix has the stories for every type of fan. You can watch these incredible sports stories like Quarterback, F1 Drive to Survive, Untold, and many more now on Netflix.
Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
The following is a snippet of an exclusive members-only podcast episode for our Patreon, Chronicles Tifosi. Become a member at patreon.com/Serie Chronicles for regular bonus episodes and content.
Italy have also sort of chosen perhaps to not, or Mancini has chosen to not give himself all the options as well. I think there's definitely this interesting story out there about, this was come from Matteo Pinci at La Repubblica, who suggested that the absences of Zaniolo and Zaccagni might have more behind them than we're sort of officially being told. Zaniolo, well, both of them actually, Mancini sort of tried to explain as, look, you know, we've got these young players who are playing twice a week, and almost the opposite side of that conversation he had with Spinazzola. He was sort of saying, oh, well, let's respect them and let them make sure they get lots of rest, and Zaniolo's had his injuries, and what he needs right now is to get sort of looked after properly, and spun it in that slightly positive way in the public domain. But there's, very sort of strong reporting from people who can be trusted, like Pinci, that that's not the whole story, and that actually this is more about a code of ethics and unhappiness, frankly, that Mancini has about how those two have carried themselves. Zaniolo, he's understood to be unhappy about Zaniolo's sort of provocative chanting during Roma's Conference League celebrations aimed at Lazio, something which led to a federal investigation. Zaccagni, there was an incident with back in the summer where he ducked out of a national team training camp, an Italy training camp, and seemingly Mancini didn't think his grounds for doing so at the time. This was in the summer, so in June. He didn't think his reasons at the time were good enough, and so that is hanging over him. So this is not official, but that's what's been reported, as I say, by someone whose reporting is generally pretty good in Italy. So definitely elements of Mancini not having all the players he wants, and some of that coming on the player side, and then perhaps some elements of him, I mean, you could say cutting off his nose to spite his face if he's keeping players out who could help him win this game. But on the other hand, maybe that's the reality that we've sort of started this whole conversation off with the Nations League just not being that big a deal at this moment in time. It's funny because the last Nations League, I remember thinking it was really encouraging how Italy approached it, and then obviously getting to the main thing and getting to play those games had a certain value to it. But I think the timing of this one, playing these games when so clearly for England, this is going to be a World Cup warm-up game. For England, this is going to be nothing more than a tune-up game, and they'll consider it a good one getting to play Italy for the real tournament in 2 months' time. It's hard not to frame it all in that context, I think. But
allora, io non ho niente da dire. Voi sapete quello che siete e non siamo qua per caso. Siamo noi padroni del nostro destino, non l'arbitro, non gli avversari, nessuno. Ok? Voi sapete quello che dovete fare.
Siamo campioni d'Europa!
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit matchup to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.